Welcome to the IHC Craft Room. I'm Mary. In today's video, I'm excited to show you how I made this beautiful spring-inspired deco mesh wreath. I'll show you all the steps and all the materials. Grab all your stuff and let's get crafty. This is Mary. Welcome to the IHC Craft Room. For materials, we'll begin with a 14-inch wire wreath base, black deco mesh. I use 6 rolls in total. This super cute decorative sign, I think I picked this up from Dollarama last summer. 2.5-inch wired ribbon in a gold glitter, black glitter, and black and white buffalo check. Some mini ball ornaments in gold and black. These super cute tiny decorative wood bees. Like, come on, how cute are these? Some black pipe cleaners. Some bright, beautiful plastic sunflowers. And some rhinestone stickers that I didn't record. For tools, we'll begin with our friend, the glue gun, my super cute pretty pink ruler, a pair of scissors, some toothpicks, and finger protectors. Okay, let's get started on the base of this spring wreath. I'm using the bubble method because honestly, I fell hard for it last fall with my non-traditional wreath. And by Christmas, I just knew this was no passing fancy. It's safe to say it's a love story at this point. Hashtag Tay forever. Now, before we dive into the bubbles, it's time for a little segment I like to call Deco Mesh Math. Don't roll your eyes, you know you love it. I'm working with a 14-inch wreath base that's split into 6 sections. I'll be doing 5 bubbles per section, which is 30 bubbles in total. I'm only using one color of deco mesh, but I'm stacking 3 rolls at once for fullness. So that means I'm gonna need 6 rolls in total to make it all the way around the wreath base. Okay, now let's talk about deco mesh bubbles. Make sure you have the deco mesh rolling over the roll, not under. If you think of a toilet paper roll, which way does the toilet paper go? Does the toilet paper go over or under? Well, in this case, when it comes to the bubble method, the correct way is over. That's how you want your deco mesh to roll so that you get a nice plump bubble. Plus, that's how we let our toilet paper roll in our house, so I'm just saying. Now we're gonna go ahead and lay that deco mesh out flat and stack them all one on top of the other. Now that we have that laid out the correct way, I'm gonna prepare some black pipe cleaners by cutting them in half, and then I'll take my deco mesh and I'll go about an inch from the end and then scrunch that deco mesh up, and using a pipe cleaner, I'll secure it to the 2 inner rings of the wreath base and across one of the crossbars by tucking the pipe cleaner under the base and out the other side. I'll give that a few good twists before I trim off the excess. Beautiful. Now that we have that very well secured, let's get started on our first bubble. We're going to use my pretty glittery pink ruler to measure out 8 inches from the point where I tied the deco mesh down. Then I'm going to go ahead and scrunch that deco mesh up right there at the 8-inch mark, and then take a pipe cleaner and tuck it under the 2 middle rings of the wreath base. And then I'll secure the deco mesh in place, creating a fluffy, pretty bubble. Cute, right? Ugh, I love them. Let's do that again. We're going to use a ruler to measure out 8 inches and then scrunch up the deco mesh, and using a pipe cleaner, we'll secure the deco mesh to the wreath base. Beauty! There you go. Your deco mesh bubbling, and honestly, I'm a little impressed. I gotta say, it's pretty impressive. Now that we've got the hang of making bubbles, I'm going to continue this process all the way around the wreath. Smoothing out my deco mesh, measuring out 8 inches, scrunching it up, forming a bubble, and then securing it to the base using a pipe cleaner. You can totally make more bubbles per section if you feel like 5 is too little, but I'm happy with 5 per section because it gives me a nicely full base with some deco mesh to spare and room to add accents in later. So like, this bubble method is crazy fast, so you'll soon reach the point where you'll get to the end of your deco mesh rolls. Oh no, that's okay, really, calm down, it's not a big deal. We'll just secure the ends down really well, give that pipe cleaner some good twists, and then I'm going to tuck that extra deco mesh through the frame and cut off the excess. Now we can focus on setting up our new rolls of deco mesh by rolling them out flat and stacking them on top of each other. Then we'll give it a good scrunch about an inch or 2 from the end and secure that to the wreath frame. If only life were this simple, am I right? Like, that was super simple. Now I'm going to tuck the ends down through the wreath frame so that it's out of sight. It keeps things nice and tidy. And on the back of the wreath, I'll use another piece of pipe cleaner to cinch those 2 ends together because I'm extra AF. And then I'll cut the excess off. Lovely. And now we'll just get back to deco mesh bubbling. We'll keep going, measuring out 8 inches and make our pretty little deco mesh bubbles all the way until the very end, where we'll secure that last bit of deco mesh down really well with a final pipe cleaner and then cut off the excess. Now I'm going to thread that tail of deco mesh through the base, and I'll use one last piece of pipe cleaner to tie those ends to the ones from the very beginning of our bubbling journey. And then we'll cut off the excess. And just like that, our base is done. Simple, right? Well, it's not quite done yet. It's time to fluff those bubbles. For this type of base, when I say fluff, I mean you'll be doing two things at once. First, we'll carefully separate the 3 layers of deco mesh and then spread them open so each one is visible. The goal is to fan them out enough to cover the frame completely with no wire peeking through. You see, this is why my love of the bubble method continues to thrive, because this method seriously delivers. Leaving the deco mesh uncut keeps everything looking clean and polished. No fraying, no messy flyaways, and bonus, it's way faster than the curly technique I used before, which I've mentioned at least 6 times in this video so far. Plus, those bubbles just make a really full and fun place to start. Well, let's put this base aside for a bit and move on to prepping our super cute as can be dollar store sign. First, I'm going to take off this purple portion of the sign that says "Be Humble." It's super cute and I may or may not use it later. We'll see. But for now, I'm going to separate it because I do want to work with just the bee sign for the center of my wreath. So now I'm going to go ahead and use some hot glue and add a line of glue to each side, the top and the bottom. And using a toothpick, I'll make sure those pipe cleaners are seated really well in the glue. Once that's dry, I'll come back and add some more glue on top to really enclose them in the glue so that the pipe cleaners are super secure. Now let's set this aside to dry while we move on to our ribbon bundles. I grabbed these 3 gorgeous ribbons from Costco and Michaels, but say it with me now, it doesn't really matter where they come from or what they cost. What does matter is that they are wire edged and they match my theme and work with my color scheme. So grab your ribbon from wherever you like, as long as it fits your wreath, your budget, and has wired edges, you're good to go. Now let's figure out how much ribbon we actually need. Surprise, it's a double math day. Or is it your birthday? I mean, who can tell? They're both just so exciting, right? Since we're going to use these 3 different wired ribbons to make 6 ribbon bundles in total, we'll need each bundle to contain 1 piece of gold glitter ribbon, 1 piece of black glitter ribbon, and 1 piece of the buffalo check ribbon. So that means we need 6 pieces of each color, and we're going to cut them all to 10 inches in length. So let's go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to dovetail the end of each piece of ribbon because in case you're new here, Mary has a deep love for dovetails. Okay. Now that we have our ribbon pieces ready, it's time to start prepping the bundles by crisscrossing 1 ribbon over the last, making sure to mix gold, black, and buffalo check. Then we're going to scrunch up the ribbon right there in the center of our crisscross, and then using a gold pipe cleaner, I'm going to bundle that ribbon together, give it an embarrassing amount of twists, and there you go. We've got ourselves our first bundle. Now let's make 5 more, and then we'll have all the pieces ready to put our wreath together at last. At this point, I should be putting all the pieces together, but as I was doing that, the pipe cleaners I glued to our cute little bee sign literally fell off in my hands. Which was definitely a first, and Santa Maria, I panicked a little bit. Apparently, this little tin sign was not friends with the hot glue, so I introduced it to my much sterner friend, E6000, and then I left it to cure for 24 hours before trying again. Okay, now that we have that drama behind us, let's find the perfect spot for each of these ribbon bundles. We'll feed the pipe cleaners through the wreath frame and twist them securely on the back. I usually tuck them between the bubbles, but remember, you can always readjust their position if the placement isn't perfect and you're not loving it. Which, by the way, I did several times with this wreath. I love the volume of the bubble wreath base, but I do find it challenging to work around the bubbles themselves, I'm not gonna lie. So it is a bit of a struggle to get the ribbons to be as visible as I'd like them to be and to poke out enough to be seen as much as they deserve, but I'm working on it and it still looks stunning. Next, let's plan out where we want to put these eye-popping sunflowers. I'm just going to lay them out until I'm happy with where I have them positioned, and then I'll set this aside and get these mini ball ornaments ready by taking their hanging collars off. Now, please pardon me while I spend approximately 6 weeks of my life deciding which mini ball should go inside the ribbon bundles. I eventually chose to alternate 1 shiny gold and 1 shiny black, and that took an embarrassing amount of time to decide on, by the way. Alrighty, now let's get these sunflowers out of the way and try to attach the sign again now that the E6000 has had time to do its magic. I'm going to tuck those pipe cleaners through the base and give them some good twists. And this sign is looking super cute as can be. I'm going to say that so many annoying times, but I don't even care. Let's grab a couple of small rhinestone stickers and some hot glue and toothpicks, and I'm going to use these rhinestones to cover up the hole on the sign where the chain was hanging. Then I'm going to add 2 more to the bottom of the bee wings to balance it out. Let's bring those pretty little sunflowers back so that we can glue them down in place. I'm gluing them down one by one, but I do regret going about it this way. What I would recommend is laying them out again on top of the wreath first and then gluing them in place. That way you can be 100% sure everything is balanced and spaced out properly. Now let's start adding on those shiny mini ball ornaments. Remember the ones that only took me 54 minutes to decide on? Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and alternate shiny gold and shiny black inside each of the ribbon bundles. Now I'm gonna spread the glittery gold and glittery black mini ornaments all around and just glue them here and there wherever my little heart desires. I don't know about you, but I've been looking forward to adding these little bees all day. How cute are they? Oh my god, I can't. Definitely watch your fingers though. These little cuties are tiny compared to my big man hands, so the warning is real, okay? Alrighty, we're in the home stretch now. Just a couple of quick things and it'll be time to hang this cutie up on the wall. First, let's clean up the back a bit by trimming down these pipe cleaners, and then I'm gonna add a piece of jute cord so that it's ready to hang. And like, come on, I can't. I have said the word cute just so many times throughout this tutorial, but what can I say? I have to be honest. It's adorable. See what I did there? When I was being honest? Okay, I'm gonna stop, I swear. Honestly, I can't help it. I like live for dad jokes these days.
So what do you think? It was pretty simple, right? The bubble base method is a lot of fun, really fast, and I really love the way it looks. It's so full and just so beautiful and very impactful. And this is my first time using just a solid color as my base, and it does not disappoint. However, I will say there is a challenge involved in having the bubble base method, and that's actually working with the bubbles themselves. Like, it doesn't make it as easy to tuck all of these accent pieces in. You're actually gluing it on top of as opposed to tucking it in, at least for the most part. And that's a challenge that I'm still working around and learning to master. So we'll see how my next bubble wreath turns out. But I'd love to hear what you think about this one in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about wreath making, check out one of these videos. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo!